going to be honest with you guys, okay? If we're going to not have a much more severe, let's call it housing recession, we're going to need these rates to fall considerably more over the next 6 months, okay? If these rates can fall considerably more over the next 6 months, then we at least give ourselves a chance to have a softer landing in regards to the economy. One of my fears is that mortgage rates were going to remain extremely elevated, right, into the summertime. It was going to produce an extremely weak housing spring and summer. New home orders will start to dry up as the year ticks on and the quarters tick on this year for the home builders. And so they need new, fresh orders. But I'm telling you, with these mortgage rates in the 6s and 7s, it's just not going to happen. So we really need mortgage rates, 30-year rates, to get back down to the 4 to 5 range. If we can have that, then we can at least dream of the housing market being in somewhat of a healthy space come the spring and summertime. I think regardless, pricing needs to come down more, and that's regardless of what happens, even if 30-year drops. But if we're going to have even a possibility, we need 30-year to continue to drop. This can't be it, okay? We need further, much further drops here in the 30-year to make the affordability even somewhat interesting here, okay? So that needs to continue to play out, right? Now, we have big commentary. Jeffrey Gundlach says the Fed will hike rates next week to save credibility, but it shouldn't, okay? And he's talking about the Fed could be even potentially cutting somewhat soon, and they need to be done raising rates here. And it's a really fascinating situation because you've seen how fast things have shifted, right? Everybody on Wall Street was convinced. This was, last month. Everybody was convinced that 25 basis points was coming for the Fed here, okay? Then next thing you know, we had some data come in that was a little hot. Next thing you know, everybody got convinced that 50 basis points was coming. And now all of a sudden, everybody's saying 25 basis points or, the Fed shouldn't even raise. And it's crazy how quick the market really shifts. And that's why I say it is pointless to make your investing decisions based upon what the Fed says they're going to do or not do. Because I'm telling you, they change their minds all the time. What the Fed's going to do now versus 6 months from now is a completely different thing. And we've seen they have no track record of being trustworthy when it comes to, them saying, we're going to do this, this is our dot plot, this is this and that. We've seen it consistently. And so don't try to make your investing decisions based upon what the Fed might do or might not do, because I'm telling you, it changes, and it literally can change in a matter of days. That's the craziest thing about it all. It can change in a matter of days, folks, okay? Now, we have this getting into a political situation now, okay? Very, very crazy political situation and how all this is going to play out, okay? So in a Truth Social post on Saturday, Trump issued an all-caps prediction. That sounds very Trump-like there, okay? We will have a Great Depression far bigger, more powerful than that of 1929. As proof, the banks are already starting to collapse, he says. The claim came as a Trump spokesman asserted in a statement to Fox News that, quote, Biden has presided over a catastrophic economy that has devastated everyday Americans and has caused misery across the country due to his anti-American policies, it says, okay? Now, obviously, this is, if you have tracked Trump for the past, 10, 20 years, even back in his Twitter days, he always made huge predictions and just, kind of doomsday stuff when it came to obviously that side and kind of what's going on, right? So it doesn't really come as a surprise there. But in regards to this, right, I'm telling you, Republicans are going to take full advantage of this time period we're going through right now to bring more and more attention to kind of what's going on with the bank runs and all those sorts of things. And it's going to get into a very serious political situation. And I believe there's going to be a lot of pressure from not just Wall Street, but from actually politicians for the Fed to start cutting rates. And you obviously even saw Elizabeth Warren last month already starting to try to put pressure, right? And here's the deal. In terms of the Democrat side, right, they've got to fix things and they've got to do it really, really quickly here because 2024 election is going to be here before you know it, okay? And if they want to have a chance in that election to do decent, they got to fix stuff and they got to fix stuff fast because I'm telling you, if this was already 2024, it would be a slaughterhouse for the elections. I'm telling you, it would be a disaster because here's the situation. The headlines are awful, okay? You've got bank runs going on. You've got banks collapsing all over the place, right? You have people still feeling very bad about inflation, right? You still have consumer confidence that is very, very low. It's not as low as it was last year when it was pretty much at the lowest we've ever seen it, literally in the history of the United States, even worse than the Great Financial Crisis, which is crazy to think, right? But at the bottom line is Americans are not feeling good right now about the economy, okay? They're not feeling good about anything in relation to that, right? And the bottom line is, you might say, well, it's the Fed's fault, it's supply chain's fault, it's not the politicians' fault, right? At the end of the day, the average American public, they don't even really understand what the Fed does or doesn't do, right? They don't really understand how supply chains work or this or that or past policies. The bottom line is they're going to look at who's in office right now and say, this is your problem, I'm voting you out, okay? And so obviously on both sides, you're going to have a certain amount of diehards that are always going to vote for their party regardless of what the situation is, right? But the problem is in elections, you really need the middle folks that aren't really a diehard Republican, aren't a diehard Democrat to make those decisions on what do they feel, right? And I'm telling you, when people feel very uncertain about the economy, that's how politicians get voted out of office. It's a very difficult thing. You don't really see it when unemployment's super low and things are great, right? In terms of the headlines and all that stuff, and politicians get voted out of office. But I'm just telling you, like right now, this is a disaster in terms of the headlines and everything hitting out there. And so that side, they've got to get things cleaned up this year. And if they don't, and this stuff rolls into next year with, let's say, much higher unemployment, let's say a lot more worries about the economy, it's going to be nasty. And that's why I think there's going to be a lot of pressure for the Fed to cut rates sooner rather than later, because it's going to come from Wall Street. And on top of that, it's going to come from politicians on that side saying, you guys better get cutting here, okay? This year, I really feel like this is a year where the stock market is giving a lot of opportunities in dividend stocks, and I think it's going to continue to give a lot of opportunities in dividend stocks. And the reason being is obviously with treasuries being so high, I think just this entire year you're going to get dividend stocks for very cheap prices. And so that's what I'm getting given at this point in time. So in order for me to get the next first down, I've got to take what I'm giving. And you can't try to force stuff, because what a lot of people are doing in the market is they're trying to force these situations. And they're causing themselves to throw interceptions and lose a game, okay? And so I'm watching, I've seen so many people fry their accounts over the past 3 to 6 months playing put option plays, okay? Convinced that the market's going to tank, and they're going super heavy into these put option plays. And I'm part of, other Discord chats that are more on the bearish side, just because I love to keep an eye on what everybody's up to and what everybody's doing in the market, okay? And I keep track on different forums and stuff like that. I just love to keep an eye on everybody and what everybody's up to and what everybody's doing. And I'm watching so many people blow up their accounts this year on trying to force stuff that maybe is not there. No different than if you're a quarterback, you can try to force some crazy throw. But if it's not there, it's not there. It's better to just get sacked or throw it out of bounds than take an interception, okay? And what a lot of people are doing is they're trying to force things on the market that they want the market to crash right now. And it's like, it might not, okay? We already had the NASDAQ down 37+% at the lows last year. We already had that. So, is it possible for the NASDAQ to fall a bunch more this year? It's a possibility. But you've got to understand, you're trying to force things. You're trying to force things. And that's the worst thing you can do. You've got to take what the market's giving you, okay? Take what the market's giving you. If it's giving you some extraordinary opportunities, then you've got to take those opportunities. It gave short sellers an extraordinary opportunity back at the end of 2021. When you saw those stocks trading at the highest valuations they had traded at in, pretty much since the tech bubble, if you were somebody that was bearish and a short seller, you had that opportunity, right? You had a great opportunity to short right there. That's what the market was giving you. Now it's a much tougher market from the short selling side. And so the more and more you get desperate, you're going to make bad decisions. You're trying to force things. Desperation leads to forced things. Let things come to you and take advantage where you see the opportunities out there. And don't get, confused by this and that. At the end of the day, you get a great buying opportunity. You got when I was buying Meta, like crazy at the end of 2022, right? And I think one day I bought like $77,000 worth of Meta, like a crazy number, right? I took what the market gave me. Did I understand that, sure, it could go lower? Sure. But I'm not going to try to force that situation. I'm going to take what I'm giving. And so if I got a chance to throw for a first down over here, doesn't mean I'm going to say, you know what? Maybe next play I'll throw for a touchdown, so let me not try to throw the first down. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But that's what people do in the stock market all the time. They'll see a great opportunity, and they say, you know what? I'm not going to take advantage of that opportunity. I'd rather just, wait for the next opportunity and maybe I can throw a touchdown then. And it's like, dude, if you're getting given the easy first down, take the easy first down, okay? March the ball down the field and then go score your touchdown. Not every play doesn't have to be a touchdown, okay? if you need a baseball analogy, every hit doesn't have to be a home run, okay? You can make a lot of singles, doubles, and triples, and that's going to be just fine. You can be a great player and make a whole lot of money in baseball, right? You don't have to hit a home run every single time. And so in the stock market, take what you're given, and you're going to be able to make a lot of money in this game. And if you're not given anything at a particular time, you don't have to take advantage because there's nothing to take advantage of there, okay?